Welcome to the Next Level Mamas podcast. I'm here to help encourage and empower you to create a life you love as you head toward your own next level. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode number 4, and I've entitled it Define Your Goal Success. Now, we are only 38 days away from 2023. If you know me, I am a huge goal person. So for me, I am planning out my finish line for the year and prepping for next year. I believe that I love goals beginning in the new year only because it feels like a little bit of a liftoff point, which is all in my head because I decided that it was a great liftoff point. Obviously, I can and I do start goals on any day of the year. And in fact, I just started one last Wednesday. That's what makes it fun. We can begin one and we can decide to ditch one at any time. That's why I say we get to define our success. Now, I did have my huge 50th birthday this year where I said I was entering my 5.0 version because you get to redefine yourself as you go through life. You know, just like Apple does their little updates every week or two, it seems. Does anyone else remember them only doing it like once a year? I feel like there was just a new version once a year. But now, every time I turn around, there's another one. Just the other day, it's like 16.1.1.1. Like there's always a new tweaking. I was thinking about that when I was updating, and I thought that's exactly what I do with my goals and my life. I carefully track them, I revise them, I redefine them, fixing all the bugs as I go along. Now, what am I trying to finish this year? Do you have anything that you can do to just decide on some success? You still have 38 days. There's plenty of time to do something. What would make like, okay, I did it. This goal was a success. Like one idea I was thinking of, if you had a book reading goal, why not push yourself through? Like, figure out a way to get there. Most of the time, I believe we just give up and we tell ourselves that there's just not enough time. And that there's just not enough time, that's just a thought that our brain has offered up. That thought can only really bring out emotions of defeat or disappointment or something along that line just way ahead of time. The thought, it may seem a little bit true, but that doesn't make it true. The opposite could also be true. Like the thought, I just have just enough time. That one could make me open up to maybe some curiosity, like how could I pull this off? If there's just enough time, like what could I do different? How could I change it up? How could I make it happen? I think it was 2018, I had a goal to memorize the book of Philippians out of the Bible. I kind of got into this goal of memorizing large chunks of scripture. And the book of Philippians, there were so many verses that I had memorized before that I thought, why not just memorize the entire book of the Bible, which sounded great in January. And I got through a few of the chapters. There's not like a lot of chapters in it. There's only 5 chapters in it. I got through a few of them, and then I kind of stalled out. I kind of procrastinated thinking, oh, I've got all year. I'll just practice the ones I've got and kind of lock them in. But then I got to November, and I still had 2 more chapters to go, only because I had lost my focus. Now, I decided that it was something I really wanted to do, and wow, it would be cool if I could finish that once. I just dialed in my program. I actually pulled it off. I was amazed at myself. I didn't think there was any way I could do it, but when I focused, I made a plan and I executed it. That's why I think we're all capable of doing way more than we think we are. Now, what am I trying to do for December? What would finish my year off strong? That's a good question to ask yourself. Well, like I said, I started, or I should say I restarted one last Thursday. This is one I'm always attempting to revise. I've heard a lot of people say that they just wake up at the same time every single day all year long, and it sounds really special. But I have just decided that right now for me, it's not for me right now. That doesn't mean it won't be for me later, but for me right now, it's just not something that I've decided to beat myself up over. But I decided that I get to decide what time the night before that I want to get up the next day. It can be any time, but I get to decide the night before, and then I will get up at that time. Now, I've dialed in exactly how much sleep that I need and what would be the best time on each day depending on my schedule. My schedule it's routine, like it repeats week after week. So I am kind of predictable to myself, but it's been a work in progress. I had a time that I was getting up at 3:30 or 4 a.m. for a season that I needed to do that. I did it every day, Monday through Friday. So I know I'm capable of doing a lot more than I think I am. Now, depending on the weekend, I would also sleep in a day if I had a day off, or my time, if I worked outside of the home on the weekend, I had to be up at 5:40 a.m. on those days. It's totally personalized schedule just for me. Just like those who say that they get up maybe at 4 a.m. 7 days a week, or maybe at 6 a.m. 7 days a week to just keep it the same. We have to figure out what is best for us. But we also get to define our success. Now, it's one thing to actually say, I will wake up at 4 a.m. to get certain things complete in order to just be off on the right foot before leaving the house. But it's actually a totally different thing to actually do it, the follow through. When the alarm goes off and I look at it and I say, oh, just 15 more minutes. It's really not a lot different from that voice that you may hear that says, just one bite of cookie won't hurt, or I can start that tomorrow. I no longer listen to the voice about the food options because I've become very good at speaking back to that. I like to call it a toddler inside my brain. And just like I would speak to my kids when they were begging for a cookie, say, today's not the day we get the cookie, baby. Today, we already have a plan to follow without the cookie. We can have a cookie on Friday if we want the cookie. It's very liberating to finally have that level of awareness, and I have conquered that beast. But for me, it was the annoying child with the alarm going off. This is kind of the scenario of what would happen inside my brain. That little child inside would say, oh, I don't feel good. I don't want to go to school today. But I want to be the mom who says to the child inside my brain, baby, it's okay. You'll feel better once you're up. If you're not well later, I can pick you up from school. Now that translates into my adult life. Like, if you're dead tired later, you can have a power nap. It's okay. But the same thing, I like to say, you'll feel better once you're up, which is true. Now that you have a peek inside my brain, I'll let you know, how am I dealing with this? First of all, I spoke with my own life coach about it at length to just go through the different scenarios of what I was thinking and what I was creating. I had already made my own perfect wake-up plan, being 7 days a week. I had 3 different times of wake-up goals mixed in there, but I decided, this is what I want to go for. These goals I made with a part of my brain that is all about my goals. The part that's like, you got this, girl. You get plenty of sleep. These times are perfect to get you to your goals and your next level. That's that little coach inside of me. And in the end, I'm going to decide whatever I decide before bed to set my alarm for getting up. If it's a holiday and I think I want to sleep till 8, then I will set my alarm for 8 and I will get up at least by 8 because I decided ahead of time. Now, in order to do this, I decided to whip out my old Urge jar. I decided to put a blue glass rock inside each day that I followed through. Now, the deal about the Urge jar is that when you don't give in to an urge, you put in a pretty glass rock. And I have a pretty glass, I'll just call it pretty, it's beautiful. It's just a clear glass jar, and the beads are like the rocks, the little glass stones that you can get from the Dollar Tree. There's like 100 of them for $1 or something. And you just put one in every day and you can see it through the glass jar and it's so beautiful. Period. That's the end of it. You don't give in to the urge. You put the glass rock in. That's all there is to it. There's no starting over. If you miss a day, there's no starting over. But I also love a good streak chart. So I think I'm going to mix that in, kind of like, you know, when you're at work and they're like, have it posted, we've been 30 days without an incident. Let's keep going. That cracks me up. But that's kind of like what a streak jar is with a habit that you're trying to do, or a streak chart, I should say. The human brain loves seeing the reward of the jar filling up. And we actually get a little reward of a dopamine hit every time you plop in that glass rock. It's kind of like, yay for me. It's really not too far off from the grade school sticker gold star chart that we all love. We love them for a reason, because you get to see all the stickers and they start adding up and it looks so beautiful and we can just be so proud of it. Even though it's just stickers, this is just glass rocks, but it's me following through for me, and I know it. Now, for the record, I did not create this magic system. It's very scientific, and I actually learned about it in my coach training. It's very useful. I've used it for weight loss people, for not giving in to an urge to eat the cookie, to stop and allow an emotion that we're trying to avoid. Usually we are eating because we don't want to feel our frustration or our anger or our sadness, whatever it is. We comfort ourselves with food, which does give us a dopamine hit. But if we can get the dopamine hit from the glass bead, that will get us toward our goals. Now for me, I've moved past the cookie and I'm moving on to the urge to go back to sleep. I know a lot of people can relate to this. I just know it. The research shows that once you've gotten around 100 glass rocks in the jar, that you have mastered the inner whiny child. Now, I have kept my streak and I am over 9 days now, so I am already calling it a success. It gets easier every single day as I put another little glass rock in there. It's so beautiful. Like I said, I am the one who gets to define my success. And this is how I want to enter into my next year, having already conquered this beast. That's why I think it's the perfect ending of accomplishment for this year, because I'm already setting myself up for next year, following through on things that I say I'm going to do. I may end up with multiple glass jars. I don't know. Whatever works is what I'm going to do. There are always new goals, things I want to accomplish to go to my next level, because there are always more levels to unlock in this game of life that we're all in, and we have to win the level we are in. I hope this gives you some sort of inspiration to find at least one more success this year and to set yourself up to think big for your next level, the 2023 updated version. As always, you can go to my website, nextlevelmamas.com/podcast, to get a PDF worksheet that goes along with this podcast. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and go out and brainstorm some great fun ideas for goals for your next level. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Next Level Mamas, where we are out to win the level we are in and move into our own next level. For more information on coaching with me, please visit nextlevelmamas.com/create your life. See you next week.